may always be straight. May I you must cherish all you can. I don't know. Me go. Say it up.
Erev Tov, Shana Tova to each and every one of you. Welcome. I have to say, I was taught in school that the feminine word for boring is mishanemet. And so I posted that this afternoon as a sort of tongue-in-cheek, Lishana Mishtanemet. And I got a really heartfelt response from a lot of you. And so I don't really know how to say less stressful in Hebrew, but it's certainly my wish for all of us that the year ahead is less stressful than the year past, and that we may find places of comfort and joy for ourselves as we go forward into the new year. So we are going to begin our service on page 7. I invite you all to please turn to page 7. Summer's gone, nights grow cold. These are the days of awe. The shofar sounds with bread in hand down to the sea. We take time, give thanks, and cast our sadness free, that we may start fresh, that we may come clear, that we may know sweetness and peace throughout this year, that we may find love where we need it most, and open our hearts and hands and draw each other close. A day to fast and count the ways we've promised and fallen short. We meet each other's gaze, begin again. Life won't wait. Time turns and we return and walk on through the gates. Under the moon, a roof of trees, we bring the harvest beneath the stars we eat and sing for joy and make ourselves strong. We'll reap what we've sown. May it last all year long. That we may start fresh, that we may come clear, that we may know sweetness and peace throughout this year, that we may find love where we need it most, and open our hearts and hands and draw each other close. The time is now. The time is now. We've gathered round, so bring all your gifts and bring all your burdens with you. No need to hide. Arms open wide, we gather as one to make a makom kadosh. We come to tell, we come to hear, we come to teach, to learn, we come to grow, and so we say the time is now. Sing to the one, God's presence is here. Shekhinah, you will dwell among us. We will make this space a holy place, so separate, so whole. Rejoice every soul who enters here. We continue now with the kindling of the Yom Tov lights, it's my privilege to invite up my beloved Robin Dennis.
Red light, we hidden at the dawn of time. On this sacred night, this light of hope and joy, a glimmer of that light here, in candles flame in children's eyes, and the eyes that glow with beautiful light. It shines in the faces of the ones we love, in grateful hearts and tears of loss. It lives in the memories of goodness, and in our own desire to do right, to try again, to build anew, to ask forgiveness and make peace. We enter this new year and look upon the beauty of these lights. So may the days of awe remain with us. Welcome back. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher tzvah
Mitzvotav mitzivanu la'ad shel Yom Tov.
source of blessing, eternal our God, fill the universe with good, teaching us holiness, sacred obligation, giving us the mitzvah of bringing life on the Baruch atah Adonai.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shechikyanu v'kiyimanu v'higyanu azman hazeh.
Give us life, holding that life, then drinking.
We turn now to page 15. Tikub b'chodesh shofar, v'keser leyom chagenu, ki chok leYisrael hu, mishpat lelohei Yaakov. At the new moon, at the full moon, for our festival day, we sound the shofar, for that is the law of Israel, the way of the God of Jacob. Yechaleluhu b'tekei shofar, praise God with the blast of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, shomea kol truah la'amo Yisrael v'rachamim. Tekiah. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Hineni he'ani mimamas, v'nisa v'nichad michad yoshev tefilot Israel. Here I am, so poor in deeds. I tremble in fear, overwhelmed with apprehension before you to whom Israel sings praise. Although unworthy, I rise to pray and seek favor from you, for your people Israel. For they have entrusted me with this task, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. Adonai, Adonai, merciful. I pray for myself. I pray for my community. Do not hold them responsible for my failings, my wrongs, and offenses. May my deeds cause them no shame, and may their deeds cause me no shame. Accept my prayer as though it was offered by one more worthy of this task, a scholar, proficient in prayer, unblemished in character, pleasing in voice. Let love be our banner. Let it banish our wrongs. May Israel's strife and misfortunes be turned into joy, renewed life and peace. Love, peace, and truth, may they prevail among us, and may there be no impediment to my prayer. Adonai, God of Abraham, of Isaac and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, the great, mighty, awesome, inspiring God of Most High, who has said to Moses, I will be what I will be. May it be your will that my prayer reach your presence, for the sake of the righteous and the blameless, the honest and the pure of heart. For the sake of your glory, you hear your people's prayer with compassion. Blessed are you, the one who hears prayer. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu yehi ratzon shenizke levrochetenu b'shanat chamishet alafim shivim mea shimonim v'shesh. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessing in the year 5786. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of our lives. I invite you all now, if able, to please rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bitvoro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvituna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umseder et hakokavim, v'mishmerotehem v'rakia kirotzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, umevir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom ben laila, Adonai Tzavot Shvo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. You are God of all we perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living God, be our sovereign to the end of time. Blessed are you, Adonai, creator of twilight and dusk. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, hukim u'mishpatim, otanu lamata. Love beyond time and space. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teachings, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. Let us speak these teachings when we lie down and when we rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our lives, ours to ponder and to study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. For you are blessed, the one who loves us, this people, Israel. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Please be seated, and please join us in reciting the Vieha.
Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidivartavam, vishivtecha bevetecha, leftecha vaderech, shachbecha mecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'yuletefo beineh, uchavtam. Sot betecha, uvi sharech, Mantis keru, asitem et kol mitvotai, vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem. Meres Mitzrayim, liot lachem, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Page 33. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart, to break the bonds of shame, to live with self-respect, to break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy, to break the bonds of boredom, to be attentive to all God's gifts, to break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength, to untie the knots of betrayal, to love with fullness of being, to break the bond of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope, to break the bonds of self-centeredness, and to extend a hand of help. Released from the darkness, our people found the freedom at the sea, and we pray for liberation at the dawning of this year. Together, would you read with me? You have stayed long enough in this place, God said. Time to go forward. Turn your face to the future. Believe that you can cross the sea and survive. Inside you is a Moses. Within you, Miriam dances, unafraid. Lift up your voice and sing a new song. Witnesses of this heroic might, the people who thanked and praised God by name freely accepted the rain of heaven. And then Moses and Miriam and all Israel sang to you this song of utter joy. Mi chamocha. Even on this special night, the world continues in its continuous path. The close of day brings sleep to our eyes, and as in every other day and night in our life, time comes for us to rest. But we acknowledge you, both in our sleeping and in our waking, with Hashkivenu. Bless our sleep with peace, Adonai, and awaken us tomorrow to life when we rise. With power sublime, spread over us the shelter of your peace, and through your wisdom, restore us, make us whole. Let your name proclaim your presence in our lives. Be our shield. Make us stronger than the enemies we face, illness and war, famine and sorrow, and stronger than the enemies in our hearts, wickedness and sin. Carry us to safety as on wings, for you are the monarch of grace, the sovereign of compassion. You are the one who cares for us and sets us free. Watch over us, we who go forth to life. Watch over us, that we may come home in peace, now until the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, haforeh sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. We turn now to page 40, and we continue with the Kaddish.
Okay. Hang on. Yitkadal v'yitkada Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrachim teviam lefachotei.
Be'alim anu yomethon uchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba, ba, ba. Uvisman kari v'maru amen.
Yeshmei Rabbah v'mora. Le'olam olam ve'amaya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitala. Shemei Kudusha. Breakthrough. Laila min kol v'chata v'shirata.
Tushvechata v'nefemata dami randelma v'marua. I think each of us comes a little unprepared for this moment, which is why we say the words Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips that our mouths may declare your glory. Please rise, everyone, if able. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that I am now declare. Now, as the high holidays come, we recite rather than sing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagdol Hagibor V'Hanurah Esfetut V'Mel Chasdit V'Konim HaKol V'Zoher Hasteh V'Ohinim HaKol Umevi Laman O Vidava. Zohrenu l'chaim melech hafetz b'chaim ukotvenu b'sefer hachayim laman Elohim chaim melech ozer Hoshia u'magi Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham Tzvizrach Torah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מגדיל הטל, מקלקל חיים וחסד, מחיי הכל רחמים רבים, סומך נוכלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, מצמיח ישועה, מי כמוך אל הרחמים, זוכר יצורה בחיים רחמים, נאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים וכל יכלוך סלע. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh kol basar, umachli la'asot. Please be seated. And so, in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength and the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives. May your will with wholeness of heart, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. We turn now to page 53. Ata b'chatanu mikol ha'amim, v'ahavta otanu, v'ratzita banu, v'romimantanu mi l'shonecha, v'kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'keravtanu malkenu la'avodatecha, v'shimcha hakadol hakadosh aleinu karata. You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all of the many peoples, you gave us a path to holiness. Among all the great nations, you lifted up us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day of the shofar's joyful blast, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going forth from Egypt. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, ya'aleh v'yavo v'yagia v'yoreha v'yitzareh v'yishma v'yipaked v'yascher v'kornenu u'v'paktenu. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and peace on this day of remembrance. Zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letovah, ufoktenu bo levracha, v'hoshienu bo lechaim. Eternal our God, remember us, be mindful of us, and redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. Favor us with words of deliverance and mercy. Show us the depth of your care. God, we await your redemption, for you reign with grace and compassion. We continue now on page 58. The God who is ours, the God of our fathers and mothers, lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are a faithful God whose truth stands forever. Baruch atah Adonai melech al kol haaretz, mikadesh Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron. Our praise to you, Eternal One, whose power pervades all the earth. You bring holiness to the people Israel, and to this, the day of remembrance.
It's a
Page 62. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, l'olam va'ed. God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are grateful forever. Rock and protector of our lives, your saving power endures from age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise, your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness. Morning, noon, and night, we call you goodness, for your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all times. For all these gifts, God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised. Our gratitude a daily offering until the very end of time. Inscribe in your covenant partners for a life of goodness, and may all life resound with gratitude and faith in praise of your name. God, you free us and you strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha lecha ne'eh lehodot. Praised are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves our thanks and praise. We're going to continue now with Shalom Rav and conclude this part of our service.
Shalom Rav al Yisra.
תעשי לעולם. יתהו מלך אדום לכל השלום. טוב בעיניך ברכת עמך ישראל. ולתפושה בשלומך. ספר חיים ברכה ושלום, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה, ברכה ושלום ישחק אתם לפניך, אנחנו בכל עמך בית ישראל, לחיים טובים ושלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
Please take a few moments for your own silent prayers, meditations, and offering. We enter this year in the hope that it will be a year of healing. And so it is appropriate that we invoke our first Mishaberach prayer for the new season. We begin by thinking of those who are in need of healing, whether it be of body or of spirit. We include in our prayers the following individuals: Jerry Blumenthal, Karen Cohen, Julie Connell, Paul Kraft, Terry Dubner, Robin Irwin, Francine Feingold, Lee Goodman, Deborah Goodman, Carolyn Goodman, Gail Hirsch, Merrill Leva, Steve Meredith, Carrie Roberts, Terry Rosenthal, Bruce Sari, Coleman Schickman, Ron Tharp, Harry Wilishi, and Rabbi Stan Zamek. Is there anyone else that you would like to include in our prayers? Thank you. Thank you.
Here are
Thank you.
Brian B. Braden,
Thank you.
David Hendricks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very much Colton,
Thank you. Thank you.
Lung and Alicia Norman.
Thank you. May the Eternal One who blesses all life bless and strengthen all of us who struggle against illness. May we whose lives are touched by illness be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and sustenance of family, friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for refuah shlema, precious moments of healing, and a sense of wholeness in body and soul. And may those who care for the sick, with their hands, their voices, and their hearts, be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope. And let us say, El na refuat hanefesh u'refuat haguf, refuah shlema. Oh, please heal us now. Heal us now. Give us a complete healing of body and spirit. And let us say, page 74. Strong was the faith of the generation before us. In exile, they proclaimed enduring hope. In the shadow of persecution, they affirmed a transcendent love and compassion. Ours is a different age, less confident and certain, more tentative in our trust. But there are many who say to the work of their hands, you are our gods. But when our worship centers on our own creations, we feel less gratitude, more doubt, and more despair. This is the paradox of our spiritual lives. We grow smaller in self-exaltation, nobler when we reach out to you. On this night of return, let us find the humility to come close to you and open ourselves to your presence. For you are absent only when we fail to make room for you in our hearts, distant only when we turn away from you. Now, as others have done before us, let us overcome doubt and speak these words of affirmation. We call you Avinu. As a loving parent, forgive our wrongs and failings and accept us in our human frailty. We call you Malkeinu. As sovereign of our souls, help us to rise from our brokenness and to build a world of shalom. To this vision, we offer ourselves anew. I invite you to please rise, and as we recite, respond in English. Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ela ata. Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, lemancha rachem aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu leman shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu, shalach refuah shlema l'cholei amecha. Avinu Malkeinu, kara uroa gezerah dininenu. Avinu Malkeinu, kofenu v'sefer, geula v'shua. Avinu Malkeinu, zohrenu zicharon tov lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, asa lemancha v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, shma kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, v'tanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, kamol aleinu, v'al olaleinu, v'tafenu. Avinu Malkeinu, kalei dever v'kerev v'rav me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, kalei kol sar u'maskin me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, kotvenu v'sefer chayim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, kadash aleinu, shana tova. Avinu Malkeinu, konenu v'anenu, ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Tanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Yalenu B'Tachenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Aledeve. Erev Rosh Hashanah me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, kol zor u'masti me'aleinu.
Please be seated. Sigmund Freud famously asked the question, what do women want? I think it's a useful question to ask, especially if you're not a woman. But in some ways, it's a little weird for Freud, a student of psychology. Why? Because psychology, psychiatry, Freudian analysis, if you will, is concerned with the well-being of an individual, not a whole class of people. Can one even say that a group, any group, shares goals or any sort of uniform idea of what they want? Of course, if we think about goals broadly enough, maybe there is one goal that we can all agree on, but it gets difficult quickly. Equality? I listen to women on social media who clearly don't want that. Most would say yes, but a few would say, well, actually, women should be in charge. More surprising, a few women would even insist they prefer a society where they are secondary or subservient. Certainly, we hear now that there are plenty of men, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Pastor Doug Wilson, who insist, for example, that women shouldn't have the franchise. They shouldn't have the right to vote. Votes belong to a family, which means the head of the family. But startlingly, there are more than a few women who agree with them. During the suffragette age, when most women campaigned for the vote to right, there was actually a sizable number of women known as remonstrants who campaigned against being given the right to vote. In our own times, Hannah Pearl Davis has an organization devoted to ending women's suffrage. Another influencer is Janet Bloomfield. This sort of overlaps with a current trend called trad wife movement, where women are withdrawing from the front of society. Not surprisingly, when the numbers are tallied, we're talking about really a pretty tiny percentage of American women. But it illustrates that any global statement one might formulate about what women want is always going to fall short of the universal. There are remonstrants still with us today. And quite frankly, I've been leading you down the path. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a psychologist. I am a community leader of Jews. So rather, I'm always asking myself the question, what do Jews want? Collectively, as a group, what do we want? Or what should we want? Is there anything that we can agree on as our goals as a people and as a religious tradition? I can say with a great deal of confidence, the answer is pretty much no. We can't even agree on our purpose or goal as a people. But there are some things most of us want, even if we can't agree on what that means. We want a better world. We phrase it as tikkun olam, for all people, but especially for ourselves, to be blessed. A mended world, a better world, shared blessing, and all that would entail. Which brings me to Kabbalah, if you prefer, Jewish mysticism, a topic that has compelled me for all of my rabbinate and which I have taught to students at UNT for more than 2 decades. I don't bring it up to you very often, quite frankly. Why? Because our tradition is adequate without the Kabbalistic tradition. You don't need to be a Kabbalist to be a fully realized Jew. Nevertheless, it is the Kabbalists who ask the question, what do Jews want? And Kabbalah answers this question constantly, but almost never straight on. You simply can't point to a text or to a declaration of what is it that Jews want, but it's always being asked by the Kabbalists and often answered, and usually it's answered in the form of a story, a parable, a mystical testimony, or a fantastic account of something that supposedly happened. Let me share one with you, perhaps the most important of these stories of all. Maybe the most famous account of Jewish mystics in our tradition. It appears first in the Talmud and gets repeated with variation again and again in Jewish sources. And it's known by a couple of titles: the Four Sages, the Four Who Entered Paradise, or the Four Who Entered Pardes. And the Talmudic version is quite short, and it goes like this: Four entered Pardes. We could translate that in a couple of different ways. Ben Azai ben Zomer Acher, which is the nickname of Elisha ben Avua, which is sort of the Jewish equivalent of calling him Voldemort, or the one who shall not be named, and Rabbi Akiva. And it continues on. One looked and died. One looked and was harmed. One looked and cut the roots. And one went up in peace and went down in peace. Zehu, that's it. Now, as you read the other versions, they start to identify a few more details. They add a little explanation here and there, but oh my gosh, that's cryptic. That's bizarrely underdetermined. There are all kinds of underdetermined, puzzling, unclear elements in this very brief report. Let's start with the word pardes. Pardes is actually a Persian loan word that we use in Hebrew, and it means orchard. That's apparently one deadly grove of trees, according to our tradition. And readers, right from the beginning of interpreting this account, have understood it to be referring to more than just a jaunt in a garden. Mostly there are two different readings. One understands it to mean paradise with a capital P, that is Eden, or heaven, or the world to come. In other words, these four individuals engaged in a mystical ascent, an astral projection, a visionary journey to God's presence. The other chief interpretation understands pardes to mean engaging in different forms of scriptural interpretation. And they do that by turning the word pardes into an acronym. P stands for Peshat, or the ordinary meaning of the text. Abraham went from A to Z. Remez R stands for Remez, which means a hint, and is either a parabolic or an allegorical meaning, which in some ways, I guess, is what we're engaged in right now. Drash, D is Drash, the homiletic reading, which we now call Midrash. Reading Torah for expansive storytelling, teasing out meaning that is not actually or literally on the page. And the S stands for Sod, secret, mysterious, or as we say, mystical, Kabbalah, a particular kind of mystical interpretation. Or to make things simpler, we can simply read this story as either being about one, witnessing God's celestial abode, or experiencing a profoundly supernatural event, ascending into the higher realms and encountering the divine, or we can understand it as a supremely mundane experience, just sitting around and reading Torah in different ways. Given the outcomes, death, injury, root cutting, and coming away intact, the mystical explanation of entering paradise or heaven, having a mystical experience, strangely seems kind of plausible. That being said, I think we living in the modern age with many different religions all imagine how the simple error of misreading scripture can also lead to catastrophic outcomes, including murder, torture, bodily injury, or a misunderstanding that leads to conflict, which is also very, very plausible. So for the purposes of this sermon, I'm going to stick with the soul journey to God. I'm going to talk to you from a supernatural perspective. Returning to my earlier questions, what did these four sages want when they set out on this journey? Well, I think they all wanted pretty much the same thing. They wanted to see God or encounter God or experience mystic ecstasy or encounter a kind of divine bliss. How did that work out for them? Let's start with Elisha ben Avuya, the guy who cut the root. As a background, you should know that Elisha is the archetypal apostate of Talmudic times. While acknowledged as a great scholar of Torah, his offenses were so common and so troubling that the Talmudic editors went so far as to give him that Voldemort-worthy moniker, Acher, literally the other one. So in this story, his venture into Pardes causes him somehow to lose his faith or misunderstand the meaning of what he saw, so that he returned rejecting Torah and Judaism. That's one possible outcome. Ben Zoma, an older colleague of Ben Elisha, was quote unquote injured. According to later sources, he went blind by most accounts, which makes perfect sense. We read all the time in Torah that you cannot see the face of God without dying. He did pretty well. He didn't die. He went blind. Seeing God getting a little too close to divinity is too much for the human mind or the human senses, and he, like most of us, couldn't handle it. The other two, Ben Azai, one a very senior scholar, looked and promptly died. Okay? Rabbi Akiva, one of the younger of the scholars, by contrast to all of this, looked and then returned to his earthly existence. Of these two sages, Ben Azai and Akiva, who won? Who did the best? Who got the ultimate prize? I'm going to ask for a show of hands. Who here thinks that Ben Azai got the best outcome by seeing the face of God and dying? Hold up your hand if you think that's the right. Ooh, okay, a few. I got it, okay. So who thinks that Akiva got the optimal outcome? Hold up your hands. Yeah, a lot more. Okay, that's good. That's how I thought it would work out. I'm relieved. Well, now we have an answer of sort to the question I asked at the beginning. What is it that Jews want? So what is it? For a lot of people in other faiths, Ben Azai was actually the clear winner. He saw divinity close up, and then he promptly joined it. All illusions were ripped away, and he embraced the utmost reality, and as a result, he got to stay in heaven, to be with God for all eternity. Score! Isn't that what most people want? That is, I think, what many religious people want, not just to experience total enlightenment, but to cling to it, not just to see paradise, but to stay in paradise. Seriously, why give that up? The comedian Bill Murray understood. He was in a movie called Caddyshack, where he tells the story of how he was once the caddy for the Dalai Lama. And he's going along, he's saying, and the Dalai Lama, we finished the round, and the Dalai Lama stiffed me for a tip. And I said, hey, Dalai Lama, what's going on here? Where's my tip? And as a result, the Dalai Lama granted him, as he described it, total enlightenment at the moment of his death. And as Murray put it, I got that going for me now. I think it's a perfectly reasonable position to be able to be with God all the time. But most of you, thank you, chose Rabbi Akiva. Why? He went and he came back. He had the joy of being very close to God forever, what's something that most of us don't get to experience in our lifetime, to be so enlightened and to be so fully actualized. But then he returned. He returned to mundane life, to cooking and cleaning and going to the bathroom and to doing all of those things that we find that impede on our lives. And importantly, however, he came back as a teacher. He drew closer to God and he tasted heaven. But then he came back. Why? To teach and uplift us for several more decades with his own teaching, to contribute to making a better world through his wisdom and his experience, his manifest devotion, not just to God, like Ben Zoma, but to us, his fellow people. He came back for us. He came back for everyone, to lift us all up with what he saw and what he learned when he stood in the gates of heaven. And that, I would say to you, is the Jewish way. That we're not just in this for ourselves, not just to show off our piety or to claim a certain kind of spiritual excellence or bliss, but to model and act in ways that help others, that help the next generation of seekers. We are meant to be, forgive me for this overused modern term, meant to be influencers. What do experienced writers say is the best way to share a story? To show the reader, not simply to tell the reader, to teach by example. And that's what Jews want, or at least we should want. What most of us want to do is to be unassuming but serious cosmic role models, to be the best people we can be in this world so that others will have a taste of the world to come. That is the purpose of this time. That is the purpose of this day, the days of awe, the high holy days, to show us a little taste of heaven and to try at our utmost to bring heaven to earth in the coming year by coming back down to the mundane aspects of what it is to be human. So, tonight you have your assignment. Be like Rabbi Akiva. And to quote another source that I'm very familiar with, may the odds be with you. Shana Tova. It is now time for us to acknowledge Kiddush, the sanctification of this day, and it is my delight to invite up Lindsay Lev, who is going to lead us. I get to do the introduction. You do everything else. No, come on. Okay. Page 78. Lift this cup for the year that is gone, for mountaintop moments and for the taste of joy. Celebration shared, milestones met, all that we've mastered and achieved since last we met. For wedding rings, tears, and kisses under the huppah. For new babies, first words and first steps. For the children who bless our homes and bring life to our community. For B'nai Mitzvah and confirmands. For young teachers of this holy congregation. Ours to cherish and guide with love. For beloved wives and husbands, sisters and brothers. For loyal friends who grow more precious with each passing year. For this community, which nourishes us all. For all we've learned and for all we've struggled through. For challenges surmounted and disappointments met with courage. For last moments shared with those we loved and we lost. For parents and grandparents whose memories are with us forever. We lift up a cup for the year that is gone and for the year that begins. May we meet it in strength, in unity, and in hope. We lift up life's cup and celebrate survival. May we sanctify each day that is ours. My dear.
Yom Rakodesh, Telesiat Misraim, Kiva Tankim, Ulevarhem, Vekaya, Mekadesh Israel, Ve'yom HaZikaron.
In your love, eternal God, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day of the shofar's joyful sound, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our peoples going forth from Egypt, a unique place among the nations you have chosen for us. And your word is true, it endures forever. Blessed are you, eternal sovereign over all the earth, who sanctifies Israel and the house of remembrance.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'eloheinu ve'ikram.
Yeah, go for it.
Can't chuck this.
No, man.
You belong here.
Well done, well done. A good example for us all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you now to turn to page 82 for the Aleinu. If able, please rise. Aleinu b'shkaveh. Please be seated. And so, Adonai, our God, we look to you, hoping soon to behold the splendor of your power revealed, a world free of idolatry and false gods, a world growing more perfect through divine governance, a world in which all human beings make known your name, while those who do evil turn to you. ונאמר והאדוני למלך לכל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו As the prophet announced, the Eternal shall be sovereign over all the earth, and on that day the Eternal shall be one, and God's name shall be one. Our thoughts now turn to those individuals we have lost, those whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zikronam levracha, may the memories of all be a blessing in this new year and always. In this spirit, therefore, we're thinking of Shiva. Who here has lost a loved one in the past week? Please share the name with us and stand when you do. For Shloshim, the congregation is aware of Douglas Friedman, the brother of Linda Tavano, who died this past month. Is there anyone else here for Shloshim, please?
Regularly zeal.
Please stand up. For yard sites this week, we're thinking of Marhold DeBrau, Patricia Ducar, Joe Friedman, Nathan Friedman, Lucille Goff, George Goodgold, Frida Lappin, Natalie Lenzner, Doug McCoy, and Dora Mintz. I now invite all of you, everyone, to show sympathy with those who mourn by rising together. And on page 90, we recite the mourner's kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadah Shemei Rabbah ve'alma v'brach v'yotei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael admin Yisrael u'avi Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'amei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitadar v'yitamam v'yitnasei v'yitadar Dale Vitala Shmei Duksham Ritu Ela Ve'ela Mikol Birkata Vashirata Amiran Belma V'Imru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabbanim Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu Ve'Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen Osei Shalom V'Imroma Uyasei Shalom Aleinu Ve'Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen Amen. May all those who are mourning and all those in grief please find comfort in the days and months ahead. May God be with you. Please be seated. And our closing song is going to be Adon Olam, which you will find page on 94. Eternal God, who reigned before the earth was formed and life appeared, and when all came forth as you desired, you ruled supreme, your name revered. This medieval poem is anonymous. We have no idea who wrote it, and yet it is a beautiful summation of what Jews have held to in many, many centuries since it was composed. Adon Olam. I invite you all to turn to page 98 and to read responsibly the indented phrases. Our God and God of all generations before it, may it be your will for the coming year to grant us a year of abundance and atonement, a year of community and compassion, a year of enlightenment, a year of going up in gladness to the land of Israel, a year of inner strength and well-being, a year of knowledge and learning for its own sake, a year of mitzvot and moments of sweetness, a year of optimism and hope, a year of quiet and tranquility, a year of song and spiritual growth, a year of understanding and unity, a year of wisdom acquired and shared, a year of young and old reaching out to one another, our God and God of generations before us, grant us a year of gratitude to you for the most profound of blessings, your gift of life. L'shana tova v'tikatevu v'chamatenu. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. Let us all say, Shana tova, everyone.